Let's have a bit of fun till I downfall. My love, if you feel like I do right now, don't say you're on the run to the other side, my love. But you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. You say you wanna cry, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. You want. Let's have a bit of fun till I downfall. My love, if you feel like I do right now, don't say you're on the run to the other side, my love. You say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose.
Good morning, everybody. I'm not really sure what time it is over there in, across the pond, but we are back with some more CGL Goats action to clean up the group stage here. On the EU side, we've got Bliss Goats, Semper Sakura up first. Megalass, you ready to get this one rolling?
Absolutely. Goats, it's always fun. It's always a pleasure with all these teams slamming into each other, doing the damn thing. And it's just honestly, it's hype. It's hype to do Goats sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, Goats is a lot of fun because, obviously, Overwatch 2. We've only got 5 players in each team now.
Now,
and,
wink, wink.
Roll lock and all that stuff. And screw that. We want to go back in time, all the way back to 2017, 2018, when nothing else mattered but the 6 players playing their 3 tanks, 3 supports. That's what we want, Megalass, and that's what our gracious God Headrammer has given us. All right, it's gonna be a great day here, as we've only got three games today. Because there's 7 rounds, 4 yesterday, 3 today, so should be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. And, we have some amazing teams to start us off here, especially with Bliss Goats coming in to start. Some names you might recognize if you've been around the Overwatch scene, if you know what's happening. Obviously, Crandop is the one you notice on the end there. But, of course, you have Phantom, Cosmoer, Axar, Shy, and Ninja all being on this Bliss Goats lineup. After yesterday, not looking too hot, 1-3, kind of a must-win every game situation if they want to hit the top 4 in this group. But, it's still doable. They're not technically out, but a loss here would probably kind of cement that not entering the bracket stage.
Yeah, that would be unfortunate, of course, but there is an opponent on the other side. We've got Semper Sakura lined up for them. Star-Lord, R, and Lychee on the tanks, and then Enormous. I'm just going to call them Enormous. Doomfist and Melee in that backline on those supports. I'm not really sure what their record is. I will let Megalass cover that because I am stupid and I'm not looking at the standings.
Listen, it's fine. I'm the numbers person. I'm chilling. Semper Sakura currently 2-2, technically a little bit better than Bliss at 1-3. So they could lose this game and still theoretically be fine. But winning this game could push them into that upper echelon already in the top 4. So it would be nice for them. Also, I promised the Enormous thing, whatever that player's name is, we got no help. Our little prod sheet behind the scene, we were told to pronounce that as Tom. If you could tell me how you get Tom from that, I would be impressed. But one thing I will not be impressed by is the standard map that we're going to see up first, which is one that didn't exist for when Goats was around, Fletch.
Yeah, it's Antarctic Peninsula coming up first here in this series. And, for all the effort putting the game how it was all the way back then, to just have a first map like Antarctic Peninsula is really funny to me in my head, right? But it is a really good, rush map, and that's kind of the whole MO with Goats is to just run it down mid and explode onto the other team, right? So Antarctic Peninsula is, it's not Oasis, right? It's definitely a pretty good first map here for a Goats tournament, even if it wasn't a thing back then.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more. It's a very brawl-centric map across all 3 of its points. I feel like if this existed during Goats, you might even see it picked more than Lijiang Tower, just because you have some weird strategies back then that could happen on Garden and heading into night markets. You argue the value of a sim TP in Goats and things like that. But that's a great thing about this Goats tournament as well. There's no variation. You are locked. 3 tanks, 3 supports. We're not doing any fancy little switch-ups, no light footwork. I think the only theoretical variations is Ana and Moira are both technically allowed, as well as Winston, but you're pretty much going to see the standard. The Rhine is already a Diva, Lucio, Brig, and Zen, especially as they're already clashing here.
Ooh. goodness, yeah. Star-Lord, I mean, these bubbles from the Zaryas early have looked very, very good to keep their tanks alive as we see our first slow mode. But Semper Sakura, they have to back down, get a little bit of that healing rolling, but Bliss Goats does not want to let them go. They're going to run it right back into their faces. The pin comes through from Star-Lord, but there is no bubble to save Ninja's life as Star-Lord cleans up too, and Semper Sakura, it looked like they were on the back foot, but they figure it out. They get it done.
Yeah, they were able to stabilize in that fight and then sort of come back once their HP pools looked a little bit better. And, you know, for those of you who either didn't ever play Goats or you need a quick little reminder, you have to realize, you know, those Reinhardts, they're not the tanky beast they are in Overwatch 2. They are extremely frail. You can see them blow up in an instant if their shield is down at the wrong time there, especially when these Discord orbs end up getting applied. So heading into this next fight, you're going to see both rallies coming online as our first ultimate, but then from there, it's going to devolve into an ult frenzy.
All right, here we go. Bubble is out from Bliss Goats. Both have been expended as the rallies begin. The Shatter comes out, hits 2 for Ninja, but the defense from Star-Lord with that sound barrier to get that Reinhardt off their backline does get pinned into the backline of Bliss Goats as the Earth Shatter comes out from Star-Lord to put down Ninja, and it's going to be good enough for right now. However, Shy does not want to let that go, nor does Aurora. This is just like you said, Megalas, an ult frenzy. You see XR looking very, very low. Both Divas are going to lose their mechs here, and it's just, I think this is a 3v3, but now as Doomfist returns to the fight, there's not much Ninja can do. Gets stunned out of that shield, and Semper Sakura, they're going to stabilize here.
And that's the trick with Goats, right? It's just sort of, it's always been an ult frenzy, right? It's one of those things where you definitely can see 12 ult invested into a fight with nobody really batting an eye at it. But Sempra being able to hold on here is massive. They're now going to approach final fight territory, and Bliss, you know, they're going to have an opportunity to take this high ground, but then they're going to have to force the fight to point at some point in the test.
Self-destruct is out from Lychee, and Cosmoer, okay, did get the sound barrier off. I was worried about, you know, a potential Ajax here, but at 87%, down 2, 3, 4 people now. Semper Sakura look like they're just going to pretty easily lock up laboratories here.
Yeah, this is going to be, there's no real contest coming in the last second. They're trying to force their way through, but there's just too many people to get through in the end here. And yeah, Semper Sakura, they had a very good control on the tempo of the game, able to slow it down, not referencing the slow mode, of course, but just being able to sort of take those little mini breathers, get everybody healed back up in that moment, and then saying, okay, now we go, now we engage after Bliss Goats has burned these cooldowns. Bliss Goats, on the other hand, you know, they're getting aggressive early, which I like, but the issue is that they're sort of using all these cooldowns, important things like the Fire Strike, wasting Defense Matrix, all of this, and they're not coming up with kills for it, so they have to actually convert those advantages into kills. Otherwise, this could just be a quick little series for them.
All right, here we go. Icebreaker for the second sub-map here. Semper Sakura looking very, very confident as we get into this second map. Bliss Goats, they need to temper. Well, they need to figure out what went wrong there on map number 1 as we get into Icebreaker. Ninja in there swinging, but I mean stunned by Doomfist, taken down by the Brig, and one more time Semper Sakura just runs it down right into the face of Bliss Goats and immediately are going to take this fight.
Yeah, Ninja just trying to live without fear there, which, you know, it's something that a Reinhardt has to do nowadays. But, you know, you definitely have to respect the ability of the Brig stuns. You have to respect those Discord orbs when they get applied onto you. Because, you know, all of that health you have, it evaporates. It no longer matters in the long run. So it is something to consider here for Bliss Goats. As now they're trying to take an under approach, and they're getting met.
Yep, there's the counter pins from both of the Reinhardts as Krandop will be the first to fall here. There could be some trade. Star-Lord is the one to go down for Semper Sakura, but Bliss Goats still in the end are going to come out on the back foot.
Not being able to convert these fights is a little bit, you know, unfortunate here for Bliss Goats, but, you know, that's what happens. They ended up trying to go under there, that you saw that they ended up just sort of getting their backline stomped on before they could even have a chance to react. So now, realizing that mistake, passing high ground once again here, getting some charge on Zarya, but it's going to be bad!
Oh my god! 5 on their backs at the hands of Star-Lord, and oh my god, Semper Sakura putting on a show right now, and the stagger onto Eskar it's unfortunate.
Oh my goodness, the staggers are just, it's always one of the funniest parts of goats to me because there's so many creative ways you can do it. But yeah, that shatter absolutely massive here. And, you know, being able to win the fight off of just one ult like that's massive because now Semper Sakura, they're again at that 70% mark. If they extend this fight, it can be the fun fight.
Here we go, Ninja, good for 2 with theirs, but unfortunately Melly did not go down, so the Transcendence comes out to keep their Zarya alive. Lychee, that mech is looking very, very low, and Ninja does not seem to know where to put the shield, and unfortunately Star-Lord, you know, regardless of where that shield is just going to cut right through it. Lychee loses the mech, but one more time, you know, they look like they're finding picks, but it's just too little too late here for Bliss Goats. Shy kills 2, but it just doesn't matter. It was a good grab, but Semper Sakura just absolutely stuffing it.
And, you know, Bliss Goats, again, it's just, they're being way too over-aggressive. They're not having any sort of measure to their gameplay. They're just sort of holding their W key down, and they're like, listen, but it'll work, it'll work, it'll work. And unfortunately, when you up against a team that, you know, they're trying to actually measure themselves, they're actually trying to pace properly, it's going to be extremely difficult to play that aggressive aggro style that you're seeing Bliss Goats operate on. You know, these group stage matches, they are only first to 2, so Bliss Goats, you know, they have to make some sort of adaptation here. Otherwise, it's going to be another series loss for them.
Yeah, I mean, that was just bully ball from Semper Sakura. I mean, you know, ults are, you know, the most important part of GOATs, right? There are not many dry fights when it comes to these GOATs tournaments that we see. And it just kind of felt like every time, you know, an impact ult was needed, you know, there were some okay shatters, some okay grabs by, you know, Ninja and Shy. But Semper Sakura just had the more consistent value with damn near all of their ults, right? And I do want to point out that Doomfist was consistently focusing on shield bashing Ninja, which, you know, does have the stun effect, you know, without being in rally like it is these days, right? Mm-hmm. And because Doomfist had such an impact on, you know, keeping Ninja in check, there was nothing that the Reinhardt could do, right? Because you're stunned for what, you know, quarter, half second. But that's a lot when it comes to these fights that, you know, we saw right there and just like that. So, I mean, they need to do something about Doomfist, but they also need to just get more value out of their ultimates. I mean, that I feel like that's the core of what they need.
I couldn't have said it better myself, but, you know, to sort of highlight what you were talking about there, because everyone is always like, oh, this character's crucial to GOATs, this one's what's needed. Like, obviously, GOATs is a comp that all relies on each other, but the Kingpin has always been Brigitte, right? It was Brigitte's introduction that made people realize, hey, you know, we could get away with this and we could run it a lot of the time and it would be really, really, really good. Because, you know, of those features you talked about, being able to stun a Reinhardt, being able to knock those shields out and do exactly what you need to do, giving your team opportunities to, you know, work and do everything for the rest of your team. It's super, super massive, as well as you're the best healing source on the field, right? You have Lucio Zen, not tons of healing or anything like that, but, you know, Brigitte, it's such a clutch hero, and it's something that has to be stepped up on here. But it seems like Phantom is up to the task here, but there is another swap happening for Bliss Goats. We have Kill the Hog coming in to play the Diva, it seems.
Yeah, I'm interested, right? Because you got to imagine with, you know, a substitution in a tournament like this, right? That Kill the Hog might have been who they wanted to play the whole time, but just wasn't here. Because it's not like you can have a specialist to come in and switch the whole comp up, right? So I'm genuinely like thinking, does Kill the Hog just have the better diva, or did they have somebody in to just, you know, kill time until Kill the Hog got here? But going into map number 2, which we do know is, you know, if anybody is going to be surprised, Bliss Goats chose King's Row. So it's going to be a really, really interesting matchup here with Kill the Hog coming in on that diva.
Listen, I know it's goats, but like I don't even know if there's actually a specific map pool for this, but like just go to Umbani goats and just pretend it's different. But yeah, no, I mean King's Row is known for goats. Like this is Scrims Row, King's Row, whatever you want to call it. It's Kings. Like this has existed. This has been like if I had to say Overwatch had an iconic map, it's King's Row. It's just what everybody knows. It's the bread and butter. And this is definitely a map I could see, you know, especially in the past, it always went into extra rounds with goats because teams, you know, were able to blow through each other on the defenses and things of that nature, as the pause is called. You know, we were starting off a little too fast. We were getting a little too easy, so that's why the pause comes in. But, yeah, it's a super simple map layout. You know how you're going to play it with goats and things of that nature, so it really is going to be on these teams to see, you know, if they're going to change up their tempos and strategies or if it's just going to be more of the same.
Yeah, I mean, King's Row, right? It's King's Row. It's our Dust 2, right? It's the map that everybody thinks of when they think of Overwatch, you know. I agree. I mean, there's not really any surprise of what we were going to see on Hybrid here. There was never a doubt in my mind because... You know, you talk about the history of King's Row, you know, you had the GOATS era, but then you also, you know, even before that and after that with the roll lock, I mean, Zarya Reinhardt, you know, the Rush composition's history on King's Row is so storied and long that even to this day where there's only one tank, people still think of King's Row as this Rush heaven. Even though, you know, there's a lot more that could be run on King's Row a little more consistently these days. That is the identity of King's Row, and you know we're here in London one more time to for good old time's sake, you know.
And we could talk about London all day long, but we could also again just these teams we know what they're going to play, right? That's the beauty of GOATS, right? Is you can't sit here and be like, oh, our opponent's going to do some crazy stuff, right? It comes down to the actual strategies. It's what forced players to learn and evolve, right? You're already seeing the forward posturing from Ninja here. This is a common corner, but nobody ever checks it. Okay, they found him.
Yeah, wow, my goodness. That was a very good 180 turn and pin by Ninja, or by Star-Lord, rather, that was. And Ninja's down early. That is not a good sign for Bliss Goats, and maybe one more time their aggression getting the better of them as Semper Sakura pushes them back through the choke point here as Ninja will return to this fight. 1 tick, 2 ticks here for Semper Sakura, but Kozumer is dead, and do they even touch? They can't get there. And now Aurora good for 2 in this fight as run down the living members of Bliss Goats.
And that's the fear when you have plays like that for Ninja, right? Obviously, if that pin works out, if you're able to get that little sneaky pin kill, it's great for your defense. But then it can, if it goes that way, right, it creates just this long-term stagger where your team is constantly getting found out. And so now tons of free push, tons of time in the bank for Semper Sakura here, and it's gonna be probably the second or third corner here before Bliss Goats gets a really good re-engage.
Goes posturing as Semper Sakura get around this first corner of the pin. Now the sound barrier from Enormous to try and push Bliss Goats back. They need to stay alive here as Star-Lord has the Earth Shatter looking for it. It's going to be another massive one. 4 on their backs, and this time Ninja is not behind Star-Lord, so does go down onto their back as well as Semper Sakura continues their bully ball gameplay here.
Like, I smelled it as Star-Lord was saying. I was like, that Shatter's going to come up massively here. And that's the thing, being able to work around these cooldowns, make sure that the bubbles are out, the shield's down. It's such great intuitive gameplay here. Almost 6 minutes in the bank, Fletch.
All right, pin out, counter pins Ninja on their back. Has the Earth Shatter one more time here. Now we're going to see the Graviton Surge, and the answer is Melly's Transcendence here. Ninja needs to hit a big shatter if they want to have a chance at winning this map out, and it will be big 3 on the backs there for Semper Sakura, but there's no follow-up because, there was a grab in the back line. They're able to stabilize here, though, for the most part. Ninja getting aggressive as they only lose Phantom. And finally, Bliss Goats, for the first time in this series, can take a breath.
Can take a breath. They've had a defensive fight, but now they have to start snowballing them, right? You're looking forward. Both teams only rocking the Diva Bombs at the moment. Star-Lord probably going to get up to an Earth Shatter very soon, though. Ninja or Shy has to be there with a bubble or shield to make sure this one doesn't create devastating value.
Star-Lord very, very low, has to back out around the corner. Got everything that Aurora could give them. Is 93% to this Earth Shatter. Looking for another massive one. Has it up around the corner. Waiting for that shield to go down. Waiting for that bubble to go away. Self-destruct out from Lychee. The Earth Shatter is there. Cosmoer answers with the sound barrier there to keep the team alive. But Ninja now 92% to their own Earth Shatter. Looking for here. Almost goes off the map. And now, oh my god, that is a massive grab answered by the Transcendence there by Melly. Doomfist goes down. SF Ninja may very well not even need this Earth Shatter just yet. Still will definitely want it. Now the Transcendence is out. Earth Shatter on top of Star-Lord's head to keep that cleaving damage away from them. Goes in for the pin, takes down Enormous. And Semper Sakura, they're starting to lose their grip a little bit.
Oh, certainly. They're sort of ending up falling by the wayside here. It's not what you want to see for the offense here, but they still have time to regroup, and that was a pretty heavy ult invest from both squads. So now nobody going to have anything, at least initially, in this fight. You're seeing already Tempera in this sort of dry moment get a little bit of forward push come.
Bubble is out from Aurora for the teammate, so Star-Lord not going to have that for, a few seconds here. Somebody is pinned. Kill the Hog going to lose their mech as Aurora gets a well-timed bubble to just barely stay alive. And with SF Ninja dead, Aurora is not too worried about staying alive any longer, as the rest of the team will follow their Reinhardt back to spawn.
Back to the spawn room indeed. Star-Lord having another shatter built up here. I'm surprised neither squad has been able to sort of combo for a grab bomb combo like we see in the traditional old days ago. Bliss Goats coming up on it. Could be massive in this fight.
Oh my god, and finally Ninja's going to get an Earth Shatter block here. Graviton Surge ready for Shy. A Shatter ready for Ninja. It's gonna hit two. The answer is the sound barrier, but now there's no answer for the grab as the Transcendence will fade away. But a great boop is going to push them back, and there will be a trade. It's going to be Aurora for Phantom, and they're going to burn down Melly. 2 for 2 in this fight. Can they keep it going? 95 charge here for a Shy. Can they keep this charge going into the next fight? The self-destruct is out. Can they? They're going to stay alive. Okay. Aurora and Shy in this duel with both very high charge at the moment. They're going to jump onto Doomfist, and finally they're going to push back Semper Sakura and stabilize one more time.
And considering how Semper Sakura walked into point 3, this has been a beautiful turnaround of a defense here for Bliss Goats. They've been able to rotate their ult in a pretty effective manner here. For example, now having Sound Barrier to counteract Aurora's grab that is coming online here. Just being able to know that you have that sustain, the ability to look through it, it's going to be massive here for this defense to continue.
Bubble out from Aurora early, so they know that they don't have that. As the grab comes out, Cosmo are going to use the late grab and keeps their Reinhardt alive. Ninja one more time with an Earth Shatter, looking for it, wants it so bad, gonna come out, and it's gonna find two there, Aurora and Lychee on their back. And Lychee did get an eat on Shy's grab there, but unfortunately that means nothing when you've got 3 on their backs to the Earth Shatter.
You can eat a grab, you can't eat the hammer. It's just the way the game goes here. So another spawn reset for Semper Sakura, whose time is about to dip below a minute here. They're probably going to want to engage with this rally here and see if Star-Lord can come up in the clutch once again with another Earth Shatter.
Alright, Bliss Goats still do have a little bit of that rally charge, but Star-Lord is dead already! And so the go button is hit, and just like that, the fight's over.
After the spawn doors once again here, and this has given Bliss Goats, ample opportunity, right? Having this Transcendence can be mad. Oh, the spawn kill onto the Zen!
The volley from Grandop gonna take down Melly. Now there's only 30 seconds left, and Star-Lord hits the shatter right into Ninja's shield one more time. This Reinhardt duel has turned 180 degrees on its head. Ninja starting to look like they're coming alive here. There is a self-destruct ready from Kill the Hog. Shy gonna use the Graviton Surge, and now we see the Shatter Bomb, or the Grav Bomb rather. It won't find anything, as there will be some picks finally coming through from Semper Sakura, but it won't be before overtime begins.
Now in this overtime push, Semper Sakura, they are coming up on a grab bomb combo. They're going to have their rally as well, but they're going to be pushing into a Transcendence as well as a rally on the other side. It's going to be a very chaotic final fight here, and it's going to be about who can find this crucial first pick.
All right, Rally is going to come out from Doomfist, and Phantom has theirs out too. Here we go, both teams. Rally, Star-Lord is dead! And a 5-man shatter by Star-Lord! I apologize, Ninja. That was a massive shatter by Ninja, not Star-Lord. Star-Lord walked off the map, but Bliss Goats have turned this whole series on their head. They defended for 6 minutes, Megalas. 6 damn minutes. They're still in this.
Being able to hold for 6 minutes is nuts. There's no other words for it. Absolutely amazing play from Bliss Goats. You have to highlight it. You said it, right? Ninja in this Rhine duel has absolutely turned it around. And, that's sometimes the thing with Reinhardt in this composition. It's all about confidence, right? You get one good block or you get one good shatter. That builds your confidence to finally be like, all right, I know what I'm doing now. I'm locked in. And it's just such a momentum-based hero in that regard. But Bliss Goats, they really came alive. Their cycling was impeccable there. And Semper Sakura, they ended up coming up stumped here. So now, having to actually put together a good defense, they can't let it get all the way to the end. Otherwise, we are heading to that crucial map 3.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about confidence, and I want to talk about momentum. Because they just turned into an iron wall there, Bliss Goats, right? Because I mean, Semper Sakura blew through them on Antarctic Peninsula and blew through them on the first 2 points of this map. But they couldn't finish the map in 6 minutes on C, Megalas. That was a picture-perfect defense by Bliss Goats. As we get into their attack here, there will not be a draw on King's Row. Bliss Goats have their finish line set for this map. So the pin's going to come through. They're going to try and, find someone soloed out there, but SF Ninja not going to be able to find, a target with that pin. You see Shy already such high charge, as is Aurora, but that charge isn't going to matter if Aurora's in spawn. Pin going to come through from Star-Lord, but not going to find a target there. But at 100 charge, Shy is going to be a menace and will not let Lychee get away, as they're just going to run it down into the spawn of a Semper Sakura.
The spawn hold is real, and you're talking about momentum. It definitely has completely flipped in this series. Bliss Goats, they now have, it feels like, the wind in their sails, exactly what they need to do to try to start coming back into this one. That being said, all of this time in the time bank, it looks flashy now, but Semper Sakura was in a very similar position on their offense, so only time will tell if they can keep it going.
Point unlocks here. They're going to get it through the choke before Semper Sakura will be able to, as the pins come through, and oh no, that's unfortunate. Okay. So Doomfist is gone. Semper Sakura, I think they had rally. Or I think at least we're very, very close. So regardless of, Doomfist coming back here, which I do have confirmation they did have rally in this upcoming fight. I'm not 100% sure how the map code works for this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even if they do have rally and they still have it when Doomfist comes back, is Doomfist going to be where they DC'd, or are they going to be in spawn? Because if they're in spawn, that might be the worst case scenario. That said, Star-Lord is already dead on the side of Semper Sakura. So I think that this fight for them is probably not the best to begin with. Losing your rig, just a little bit of salt in the wound.
DCs are always, they're not fun. It happens though, everybody's playing online, somebody kicks a router, something happens. It is what it is. But like you said, the Reinhardt's already gone, so Semper Sakura probably, even if you come back and your brig is there, you just sort of into cart, you die on this fight, and then you take another fight at the end of point B. Nothing to sweat just yet, but Bliss Goats, again, they have a lot of power behind them right now. They're definitely feeling this upswing in momentum that we keep talking about and keep hitting on. And good news, Doomfist has rejoined the lobby. I imagine that could be confusing if you're just like listening for a bit and you're like, wait, why is there a Doomfist and Goats? But that's just the name of the brig player. Don't worry about it.
All right, so that answers our question. They don't have rally anymore.
Yeah.
As Bliss Goats just clean this fight up, they're gonna get the point through the choke point, and 5 minutes on the clock, Megalas.
Yeah, but like I said, you lose that fight, it's fine. Star-Lord was already dead. You come back into this next one, you're going to get another fight before the end of point B here. No worry, no skin off your back. It's going to still be a pretty heavy ult invest from both squads, right? 2 Graviton Surges, Semper Sakura just already having their support ult, whereas Bliss Goats are just a few percent away. Could be absolutely crucial here, and then, yeah, it should just be a nice little even fight for them.
All right, grab out early from Shy is big. Melly does use the Transcendence, but it's just too late for Star-Lord. As they take down the Reinhardt first, the sound barrier out from Enormous. Earth Shatter is out. It hits 3. SF Ninja, I believe, did get stunned there by Doomfist, but it's just not enough to stop the Ninja there. As, this Reinhardt has just begun absolutely swagging out.
They absolutely have, but Semper Sakura, here's their big advantage right now, right? Pretty heavy invest from Bliss Goats. The only thing they're supposed to do now is rally. Whereas Semper Sakura, they have their Diva Bomb, they have their Shatter ready to go. If they're able to find value in either of those, they can get a defense going.
Okay. Oh my god, Star-Lord hits 4, gets around the shield, takes down Kill the Hog, and finally, Semper Sakura, not Sakura. Semper Sakura. They're gonna breathe, but they can't rest because this is still a monumental time bank.
Monumental time bank is the word I would use, most certainly. But Bliss Goats, they're coming in here with another engage. The rally is going to be probably the big thing for both of these squads, is that both teams pop it.
Yeah, both are going to throw the rally out. Ninja just thirsty for this Earth Shatter. Health too low. They don't want to use it too aggressively here just yet, as the Graviton Surge is going to come out, and oh my goodness, 3 on their backs. It got blocked by Star-Lord, but with the other 3 and, no sound barrier to keep this alive, this map may very well be over for Semper Sakura. Earth Shatter comes out, but it only hits Hog there as Lychee loses the mech after coming back, and they only need 3 more meters. This is over. Yeah, Bliss Goats just absolutely turning the script on its head and dominating after the first 2 points of their defense on King's Row. That was crazy Reinhardt play by Ninja to keep Star-Lord in check.
Is what they needed in that moment here. So now this is heading to that map 3 decider, if you will, to figure out what is, figure out who's going to come away with the dub in this series. And it's just so interesting to see, because obviously we're super focused on the Reinhardt, right? Reinhardt is so flashy in this sort of series, in this sort of setup. With Goats, but high charge Zarias are constantly doing tons of damage. The Divas are looking to eat as much of that damage they can, sometimes even getting a grab eat like we saw there. So tons and tons of playmaking potential across all of the heroes in the Goats lineup. But yeah, the Rein duel is what everybody is noticing and just being like, oh my goodness gracious, because as you said, Ninja's just absolutely turned it up to 11 on that one.
I mean, I think that when people think of goats, they think of Reinhardt, right? Even if Brig is probably the linchpin that created goats as a composition, the Reinhardt duel I feel like is the most like front and center. As y'all are gonna love this. We're going to Hanamura for map number 3. So
I predicted it. It's in my background.
yeah. But I feel like that's just what everybody sees, because the Earth Shatter, I feel like, is, one of the more uncounterable ultimates, right? If you don't block it, and your like Zenyatta or Lucio go down, right, it's really, really hard to counter out the Shatter. The other ultimates are pretty, the tank ultimates, right? They're pretty easy to just say, hey, we've got Transcendence, we've got Sound Barrier, right? The grab, you just counter that out with Sound Barrier, Transcendence, and you turn around to block the self-destruct. But the Earth Shatter, I feel like, is what everybody is looking for. They want that so badly because it has the potential to be one of the most impactful of the 6 ultimates in this composition.
I mean, yeah, there's the massive amounts of impact that can be had here. And there's so many, choices of things you can make, you can do it. And that's why, again, I think that's why GOATS is such a great competition. It's remembered so fondly because, your differences are not in necessarily your hero selection, because everybody is on the same hero, but instead it's on just sort of how you play the game. You actually have to fundamentally evolve as a player, right? You have to think of different strategies and things like that. Tombfist is disconnected for a second time, potentially a third time, because I saw they were also disconnected when we went back to lobby last time. So Semper Sakura maybe already, down in momentum because of losing that last map, but not fun to have a player dealing with internet issues like this.
I mean, yeah, and you want to talk about, where Semper Sakura looked their best on map number 1, right? It was, I think a lot of that, a lot of the credit was to Doomfist keeping Ninja in check. And, maybe they're just lagging out of their minds here recently over the last couple of maps. But it just felt like Doomfist couldn't keep Ninja in check like they were doing on Antarctic Peninsula with that shield bash. And, maybe that is what gave, Ninja the room to, stretch out the shoulders and swag out like we saw. And, that is not a good thing for Semper Sakura because, Doomfist, very, very impactful hero on that Brig. So I really do hope, for the sake of, integrity in this series, that Doomfist can, kind of, that the internet can lock it in.
The internet can lock it in. That's the hope and the dream, but, unfortunately that we cannot guarantee that. We just have to hope. Because like you said, Doomfist definitely was throwing it down on the Brig. Absolutely amazing gameplay. And then when to have a carry player like that go silent, it's not as simple as, somebody else needs to step up, right? Because it, like you said, being able to lock down SF Ninja, not allowing that Reinhardt to do any and everything. I had a train of thought going, but just Hanamura. Oh my god, I missed 2. I honestly was not a 2CP hater. I think 2CP could even still work in 5v5.
Listen, I only hated Anubis.
You hated Anubis. See, this is why
I hated Anubis.
This is why we don't allow silver players to have opinions. It's fine.
I'm not silver. I'm a higher rank than you.
No, you're not.
I'm GM.
You are not GM in this game.
I am.
You are actually smoking something. But do you know?
Listen, I'll give it to you. GM on console is different than GM on.
Oh, so you're like
PC,
what? Gold 4? Anyway.
Okay. Come on.
No, console players are cool. I love them. But the Hanamura choke, it's famous. Everybody loves it.
All right, here we go. You see Star-Lord posturing, waiting for the opportunity to jump in on this. And there they go. They're going to speed into the left room here. As Bliss Goats are just going to wait and back up, because you don't want to take that fight in that very, very enclosed space. You're just going to rotate around this high ground, and somehow Enormous is able to snipe Cosmoer in the Lucio gap there as the full rotation comes in, pin onto Phantom, and just like that, this fight is already over. They lose Star-Lord, but it's not enough for Bliss Goats to stay in this fight.
Losing Lucio, it's so awful because you just don't have any of that speed. Obviously, you know, it's like, oh, you know, you're talking about momentum based. No, the literal speed boost that Lucio provides, even without amp, just passively, it's so unbelievably crucial for making those rotations and being able to path properly. Because everybody else on the Goats comp is pretty much a sitting duck besides D.Va. So losing that is not great here. Semper Sakura, plenty of time to work with though, heading into point B, but they're definitely going to need it because point B, it's always a pain on these. I was gonna say hybrid maps, these assault maps.
All right, here we go. They're just gonna rotate down to the low ground. There is a Discord Orb onto that Zenyatta. Melly in the backline trying to stay alive, able to slide away, get rid of that Discord Orb. As Ninja is just posturing around this corner, waiting for Semper Sakura to come back in here. Bubbles on the ready for Shy. Gonna get that pin from Star-Lord, who's just going to absolutely explode there as the Transcendence came out just a little bit too late to save them, and Semper Sakura will lose a little bit of that momentum, but it's one fight. They still got 5 minutes.
And the defensive fights are just going to keep coming here. Bliss Goats masterfully actually didn't even have to invest into that fight at all, and we're able to get the Transcendence already out of Melly here. So Semper Sakura already going to be technically short-handed in this upcoming fight. In terms of the ult bank, they're going to have to try to see if they can, you know, pour some ults themselves before they get a real engage going. That being said, though, you know, we have to start, you know, looking towards these Reinhardts once again, see if maybe in these close quarters these Shatters can get away with a whole lot more.
You see Ninja, you know, sitting there third person with that barrier ready to go. Earthshatter comes out from Star-Lord, and good for 2. The sound barrier out from Enormous to try and counter out the Graviton Surge, and now the Earthshatter's in, blocked and stunned. No good there for SF Ninja, but Doomfist goes down, and you know, a couple people booped off the high ground, and now you know, Krendov is there sitting ready with that Transcendence ready to go. Self-destruct gonna come out. Lychee cannot get back into mech, unfortunately. Kill the Hog ready for it, as Kill the Hog good for 3 in that fight, and Bliss Goats holding on here.
Bliss Goats able to hold on beautifully, right? Not having to invest the sound barrier or the D.Va bomb there. Meanwhile, Semper Sakura ended up throwing everything in the kitchen sink into that fight and came up with nothing.
Oh,
Another putt,
no.
please, Doomfist. Please, Doomfist.
Hey, we don't know it's Doomfist.
Uh-huh. I'll bet you $1.
Leave Doomfist alone.
I'll bet you $1.
I don't take the bets. I don't take bets. All right, it's Doomfist. Ah, man, that's unfortunate. Luckily, Semper Sakura just lost a fight. They just used the rally. They can take a breath knowing that this DC won't really hurt them in the long run, luckily. But, you know, still is going to... I mean, it's just going to slow down their whole everything, right? Because the attack is where you don't want to be slow, right? Bliss Goats is just sitting in this high ground area, right? Where everybody wants to take control of the high ground. That's just gaming knowledge, right? You want the high ground because high ground good. Bliss Goats can just sit there and wait for Semper Sakura to come to them because they're on defense. They're not attacking, right? You don't have to be super duper aggressive on the defense, right? So Semper Sakura having these slowdowns with this Doomfist DCs, right? It's not even like a player-to-player thing. They can't do what they want to do when they want to do it because of, you know, these DCs happening.
Yeah, but, you know, it's one of those things, again, you know, talking about Hanamura, right? It's a map that teams haven't had to think about in a very long time, but in terms of Goats, you said it yourself, right? This high ground, it's so unbelievably crucial. Even if you don't end up trying to take it, like if you're getting stifled in a choke, you still at least have to go to this initial high ground to then path the point, right? Because going just under the point, Bliss Goats will always be able to drop on you faster, but it seems like they're at least standing in main there, so it seems like they're going to at least try to run it down. But they're all just kind of looking around, waiting like, hey, are you here? Are you ready?
All right, 3.5 minutes on the clock as Bliss Goats gonna drop down to the point. They're gonna get a tick here for Semper Sakura. The sound barrier out from Cosmore. going to keep Bliss Goats alive for a little while. You see SF Ninja's health bar slowly but surely going down here. Now the self-destruct out from Kill the Hog. Can they find anything with it? The answer is no. But it may have given them the time that they needed for SF Ninja to return to the fight, especially with Enormous going down. They don't want to give up any more ticks. They've already given up more than they would have liked to, and finally, Bliss Goat's going to be able to find the picks that they need as SF Ninja actually came back on the Winston.
I guess just a little bit faster out of spawn. You do a little bit of leap tech and things like that. Oh no, this stagger. No. I remember the fried wiener stagger of Overwatch League. This is about halfway to what you were doing. Not as long, but oh, Baby
Still
Diva's
brutal.
in that stairway. It scares me.
Yeah, still a very, very brutal stagger there for Semper Sakura, as SF Ninja's going to go back over to the Reinhardt and await Semper Sakura's assault one more time.
That's all you can do. You just like, all right, there you took a fight there. Now it's just more posturing, right? Do you go to the high ground? Do you try to path directly to point? It seems like Semper Sakura going to opt into just going straight to point.
Okay, Bliss Goats immediately drop down as the grab is eaten by Lychee. Doomfist traded for SF Ninja, and that is, you know, an okay trade in most scenarios, but in Goats, maybe not so much here, as Lychee's only able to clean up Cosmoer. And one more time.
Really? I mean, something that we have to highlight, it's not really been, you know, this crazy Rhine duel either which way here on Hanamura. It's actually been the Zaryas, right? Shy has come up massively. Sure, that Gravy is kind of unfortunate, but you just have the fact of Zarya with high charge being able to beam down the opposition, find moments where the other Zarya is just that slight edge out of position and able to put that beam damage on to remove her from the fight. It's really helping give these teams the advantage.
Semper Sakura does have the ult advantage heavy in this fight. Looking for the grab. They get the grab off. Krandop is going to answer it with the Transcendence. The Earth Shatter comes out, only hits Shy, but Cosmoer goes down to the self-destruct. Aurora also going to follow that, and these self-destruct from Kill the Hog. Good for, you know, more than usual without the Graviton Surge.
Horror defense habit. Ninja's going very deep in. Like, this is hubris levels of deep because there's such a quick respawn happening on the other side. I mean, one more second and that could have been absolutely devastating here, but now Bliss Goat's just going to set up on the high ground again. But again, Semper Sakura, they're not opting into the high ground where they don't feel like they can win it, so now they're just going to try to force point, and that doesn't work.
Earth Shatter comes out, not going to hit anybody, unfortunately. I don't think. There are the Transcendence from Melly. Just a little safety measure there as the bubbles are coming out. Shy wants this grab bad, gonna hit the grab, and there's no answer for it on the side of Semper Sakura. There's just a cleaving damage out from SF Ninja to try and, you know, the fight's already over as, oh my god, Phantom's on a 20-man kill streak. That's crazy. But now there's the fight's over. The round is over. There's a touch late, but yeah, there's nothing Semper Sakura can do here.
Nothing they can do indeed. So one point and then 46.8% of point B is all they have to show for themselves here. Bliss Goats, you know, again, they're able to put up a very stellar defense after losing in a very quick initial way. So having themselves this massive opportunity to come back and take this series, again, you know, we talked about the standings at the start of this series. It's so crucial for Bliss Goats. If they want any chance of making that bracket stage, they pretty much are going to have to win out every single round today, already sitting at that 1-3 score line. But right now, they're in position to do just that, at least with this series.
Yeah, I mean, one take is very, very gettable here for Bliss Goats. As I wonder what they're going to come out on, Megalas. Oh my gosh, it's Goats!
You're funny. You should do stand-up, honestly. Like,
you know, it's a different kind of comedy, right?
That drives me crazy when people are like, "Oh, it's a different kind." Like, listen, like, yes, it's true, but like, God,
that was
such an
okay. That was
thing.
a reference that just went over your green head. Okay.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Maybe make
It was
references.
a Smiling
that are
Friends
good,
reference. It was a Smiling Friends is such a big thing.
Okay,
Like,
wait, I remember it now. Okay, but no, that's also just a general statement people say about stand up, but it's fine. You don't need to worry about stand up when you have two clowns in the casting booth talking about random nonsense. Anyway, these teams are playing goats. You know how it is. Are we gonna see another pass at the high ground? Do you think, Fletch, or do we think we're just gonna just slam into each other as a joke?
well, it looks like Semper Sakura do not want to let that rotation happen, but Doomfist is dead. Very, very low, way out of position is the Brig, and there won't need to be a path through high ground because Semper Sakura just gave it to him.
Yeah, they just kind of a bit of an overextension. Star-Lord's pin, and then Star-Lord ends up going down, and it's just sort of falling apart here. So now Semper Sakura, they have to put up a stellar defense on the other side of things. But it's just a question of how are they going to be able to do it. Well,
6 minutes.
Listen, this is to be fair. This is how it just.
I just haven't thought about this stuff for so long, man.
Also, what's crazy is in the original Goats patches, it would have been 7 minutes, because the game mode added 4 minutes to the bank instead of 3 for second quarter.
All right, so we actually see a path through the low ground. That's actually what I wanted from Semper Sakura, to try it as we see the first tick come through. Crown Up goes down, but the trade for Star-Lord, and they see 9! Oh my god, Bliss Goats win the series by pushing Semper Sakura somewhere else.
I mean, they got the first tick so quickly, and then after first tick, it's just a mere about 13% that had to be surrendered over, and that's one of those blink and you miss it moments there. So Bliss Goats coming up with a very massive win here over Semper Sakura to try to keep their playoff hopes alive in the Goats bracket.
Yeah, I mean, now what? Both teams are sitting, or rather, Bliss Goats sitting at 2 and 3, and Semper Sakura, what, 3 and 2 now?
2 and 3, both teams.
2 and 3, both teams, yeah. Yeah, that was what I wanted to see from Semper Sakura on their attack, right? Because they tried everything but that. The low ground push. I feel like it's a little more protected from the drop down. I do think that the high ground is still probably the strongest place to take a fight there on point B of Hanamura. But, Bliss Goats knew that Semper Sakura were, going to be trying to lock down that high ground as you tend to do. And they knew that there's such an easy rotation to try and drop down onto him from main. So why not go the third direction, right? The low ground, underground part of Hanamura that, not many people think about, even back when Hanamura was in rotation, right? That low ground area was not a very, very popular place to push. But when you did push, it usually did garner some results because nobody ever expected it.
Nobody ever expects it. I mean, like you said, it's one of those things where it's just like, wait, why are they going all the way low ground? Because, from the high ground, you're sort of forced to give up high ground, but you can't necessarily just meet them there. You're like, okay, so what do we do? Do we just try to hold above them and try to poke down? Do we just wait for them to come up the stairs? And in those moments of indecision and indecisiveness, that's where you see, chances like that come out for Bliss Goats. But at the end of the day, able to secure the win, that's all that matters there, and Bliss Goats were able to do just that.
Yeah, so Bliss Goats moved to 2 and 3. They keep themselves alive in the tournament here. Very, very good for them. Semper Sakura, they need to regain and go for their last 2 matches here. Both teams even now in the standings. So we're going to move on. We're going to cut it to a quick break here. And when we come back, we've got, I believe it's going to be M2 versus VA Cat Plague coming up next. So stick around. Should be a lot of fun here. It's still a lot of goats to play. Welcome back, everybody. We've got a very, very interesting match here in the 6th round of the group stage. We've got M2 versus 0907, both undefeated, trying to stay at the top here in the groups. Megalas, I'm really excited for this one.
Absolutely, the two Goliaths of group number 1 or 4, whichever group number they are. But yeah, just both coming into this match undefeated, both wanting to walk out of it with that still being intact. But only time will tell who's able to keep that record perfect here, especially heading into the bracket next weekend. But we really got to see what these teams are cooking with.
Yeah. First up, we've got M2 with Pikanu. We got Saragamon and Wilbos on the tank. Spike, Gaming, Giraffle, Skunk. I'm un-American. Don't hate me, please. And then Alec, bringing up the 3 supports for M2. This roster has done a lot thus far, sitting at 5-0, just like their opponents, 0907.
Yeah, the O is supposed to be there. Don't worry. It's just it's a glitch in our system. Don't worry about it. But yeah, 0907, you got Crocs, you got Sky, you got Majin being your tanks, and then you have John Witch, Eden, and Ducky on those ever-reliable supports doing what they need to do here. And, Fletch, I feel like we hyped up the Rhines a lot last series, and we're probably going to do more of the same here, because, again, Rhine's just a flashy hero. But during this time, I want to say, shout out any other hero matchup that you think will be fun in the series. Do it right now.
I have always been a big fan of Zarya. Ever since I was a wee little bronze player back in 2017, I was, I played a lot of Bastion, but I fancied myself a flex player back then. So I would pick up like a Zarya every now and then, and she's just been my favorite tank to play for a long time. And so, I like the Zarya matchup here too. So, now that that's out of the way, why don't we talk about our first map? We talked about Antarctic Peninsula being, a very, very good rush map, but why don't we go to the rush map? It's Lijiang Tower. It's Lijiang Tower.
I was going to say, we're going to go to Lijiang, and then map 2 will be King's Row, and then if we end up going map 3, it'll be like Hanamura, and it'll be the most typical GOATS series you will ever see, but it's fine. That's the point of a GOATS tournament. We're here to play on the good GOATS map.
It's nostalgia. That's all it is.
It is the good maps here, but yeah, Lijiang Tower across all 3 points. Obviously, Control Center is known most for the Brawl, but you still have your other points. You can get a little bit creative, a little bit feisty with it. Night Market and Garden, both opting into their own pathings and unique things to do. But we are starting on the Control Center, so this will be fun to see the Reinhardts clash head-to-head in the White Room. Those bubbles come out to keep everybody healthy. And, like we said, we have two giants both wanted to compete to be that number 1 seed here in Group 1. It's just a matter of, only one of them can.
All right, yep. It's going to be a clash of titans here on Lijiang Tower for sure as we get ready to head into Lijiang Control Center. This is the definitive, I believe, rush point on this map specifically, but, of all maps in Overwatch in general. So here we go. Pikanu walks forward with that bubble, and it gets just thrown backward as looking a little bit worse for wear. Gets the healing out from those supports in the back line, but it can only do so much for so long. Daki gonna be able to find 2 picks here as M2 are gonna find the first fight and flip.
Beautiful first fight from them. It's really the Zen coming up big, but that's bad.
Yeah, losing Sky early, followed by Crocs. They just overextended way too far, and just like that, 3 are dead on the side of 0907, and they only get 8% out of their great first fight.
Only 8%. Now a stagger onto Majin. Ultimately going to be cleaned up here, and now the chase is coming through. That's going to force a bit of a reset for the entirety of M2 here. They are able to get out safely, though. And now heading into this next fight, you're seeing, again, it's going to be an ult-palooza. You're probably looking to the support ult to keep everybody healthy to start.
All right, we see a rally out from Giraffe, a sound barrier, and the Transcendence out from 0907. Now it is Eden's turn to use Rally Transcendence as the response to Sargamon's grab, and Majin is able to put those micro misses to good use to put Pikanu down first, and the rest will follow very, very shortly as M2 come back swinging.
And, you know, it's a massive sort of oversight there for 0907, right? Alec and Spike both ended up using their ultimates to try to sustain through that fight naturally. Now they have no real answers for Sky already coming up on this Graviton Surge. So it could be a massive grab bomb combo here to get M2 to continue building.
Alright, the Earth Shatter is wanted from Pika, but Crocs is just going to put an end to that thought real quick. But they still do have it, so Self-Destruct going to come out from Majin to stay alive in this fight.
Staying alive is all that matters right now. Now you're seeing everybody for the side of 0907. They're passing to the high ground. But that being said, you know, they're already being met at the doors here, so it's going to be very crucial to watch out for them, you know, especially with these shatters.
Oh my god, Crocs for... I mean, what a shatter by Pika. Crocs on their back could not stop that shatter from Pika, and just like that, it's just a tug of war here on Lijiang Control Center.
Tug of war back and forth. But ultimately it is going to be capped here. And so now heading forward into this next fight, you're going to see, you know, this sort of re-engage where, again, you know, the Shatter was expended from Pikanu, so Crocs is going to have this one ready to deliver as long as it's not thrown into a shield, that is. It could come up massively.
Oh my god, Crocs answers, but unfortunately they have everything for 0907. It was a good Shatter from Crocs, but 0907 have the answers and the antidotes. Daki has to use the Transcendence early, so they don't have an answer to this grab from Sargamon. Gonna pop it out real quick, but it will not be able to follow up on it. The rally from Eden going to keep them alive here as the tug of war continues.
The tug of war continues back and forth as, yeah, I just, you know, we've had a little bit backwards on broadcast just to sort out that confusion. 09 and M2, we flipped it. Now everybody's on the right side. But yeah, that stagger's massive there. Wilbos now means that 0907 has a chance to win the round.
Oh, I think 0907 just won the round out with that. What a grab to pull Alec back out of spawn. But yeah, 0907 after this brutal back and forth.
Wait, there's someone on point!
Touch. They're gonna flip it, and the massive shatter by Pikanu means that M2 are still in the map. What the hell is happening?
They said they didn't realize Spike had gotten out of spawn, I guess, and now this could be a brutal.
They're gonna stagger Sky.
M2 just stole this round. This was a stolen round. It would have to take a Herculean effort from 0907 to flip this one back in their favor without their Zori in play. They're going to Lucio out.
Can they touch? They get the touch done. Crocs is at 85% of the Earth Shatter. They're going to use the sound barrier to try and keep themselves in this fight as they await Sky. But Pika is gone and they have the Earth Shatter. There's nothing to block it. It comes out, but it only hits Alec. And that's okay because the self-destruct is good for 2 and a mech. And 0907 come back and their Herculean effort is more than enough here on Control Center, as it is 100 to 99, but that was anything but a blowout.
I feel like I just watched like an entire soap opera. I feel like I was given a whole storyline, and I'm looking at myself, I'm like, wait, that was just the first round. I think we're in for a treat with these teams. Like, that was just emotions flying back and forth with the crazy things they were doing. They're saying they are on Pharah. I do not think so, unless Pharah became a tanker support when I wasn't looking.
A tanker support in Overwatch 1.
A tanker support in Overwatch 1. Yeah, obviously, you know, it wasn't just the Metro switching roles. But, yeah, I mean, M2 now having to, you know, win this round out. It's going to be a very interesting one here as, So Reinhardt was kind of in by himself there for a moment. Cross.
All right, Night Market commences here as they barely escape going off the side of the map. Spike luckily gets that wall ride going as just continues to be pushed off the point, and finally Crocs is able to get rid of Pika that same way, and Doki's gonna go down here, but that is okay for 0907 as everybody else is dead for M2.
Everybody else sent back to the spawn room here. 0907, they were able to establish themselves, and it was good, you know, boops from the Lucio there, you know. Spike trying to find those angles, but John ultimately just keeping them displaced.
Yeah, Crocs able to get 3 on their backs, but I mean, it's another overextension by Crocs. They just have to get out. It was a big shatter, but Pika was there to you know, to peel on the follow-up, as there is an answer finally from 0907. The overextension was there by 0907 and Crocs, but the defense of the point is strong for 0907.
How did they turn that? Like, I watched it happen, and I don't know how they just flipped that play. They had the advantage.
What is Crocs doing?
Why is the Diva standing around? What am I watching?
Okay, a little bit of confidence out here from 0907. Counterpins in the way here. Both bubbles used by 0907, but that's okay because Pika's dead. Eden follows in turn. The Graviton Surge is going to come out. There's a Transcendence and a Sound Barrier to answer it from 0907, as this point is a lot more brutal than the last.
Brutal is one word to describe it. The shield up doesn't actually end up saving anybody. Oh no.
Okay, I guess. I mean, both Earth Shatters are out. They're able to find 2 here for M2. Can they get rid of the Zarya? That's big, and they do. Pikachu gets rid of the Zarya here, and 0907 may once again have overextended. Sure, all right, but they've got 92%, so they're still in a good spot.
They're in a good spot. I got scared when I saw the touch. I was like, surely they don't flip another crazy fight. But no, M2 finally has a hold on the objective here. They're starting to push forward to the choke. Ready to meet 0907. Pretty dry fight for both squads for the time being, but we'll see if that changes.
John Witch building up very, very close to a sound barrier. Eden and Giraffe close to the rallies. So we will see as Wilbos is able to take down Crocs early. And, you know, they would love to flip this fight out, I'm sure. But losing Crocs that early, they know that they just need to escape.
Just reset for the time being here. Get as many of these kills, stagger as people out as you please. And this is a good turnaround for M2 right now. They're able to sort of get their ult economy back in their favor. Having these advantages in the Graviton and the Shatter for the time being. Now it's just about actually being able to rotate these ults effectively and not worrying about overlaying them.
The rotations are out from 0907. Rally comes out from Giraffe first. You know Eden is probably going to follow up with theirs as the eat comes through from Majin, but Sky is dead. So there is a lot of damage lacking from the side of 0907, and the Shatter is a massive by Pikachu 3 on their backs. And the tug of war, it's just started all over again.
Started all over again. And M2 absolutely coming up in the clutch right now after how badly this round was going for them. The craziness ensuing from 0907. They seem to have been able to stop the silliness for the time being, but now the speed's out.
Oh, but Pikachu just can't get away. Self-destruct is out. Can they find something with it? No, the answer is no. Earth Shatter to stop the remake of Wilbos! And now they're trying to get rid of Wilbos. The Transcendence will end here in this fight as they will take the flip back one more time. Jonowich falls, but that's okay for 0907 because at 99%, they're not really all that worried as 0907 going to win this game of Tug of War on Lijiang Tower.
I'm still just lost, like, honest to goodness. It's just...
Eden flipped this fight.
Like, yeah, I guess that's what happened. It was just the flails that just in the rally, I mean, we have to remember Brig is a raid boss there. But it was just that map was chaos. There's no other way to put it. There's no other way to really highlight it. It just was a chaotic back and forth brawl for both of these teams here. And 0907 coming up massively with that one. So now M2, in a situation they probably haven't found themselves in too often. Their backs against the wall. They have to find a way to actually stifle this chaos, slow down what 09 is wanting to do. Otherwise, we could see these maps keep slipping through their hands.
They've got to punish the hubris, right? 0907 spent a lot of time there on Lijiang Market in the spawn of M2. Obviously we're going to King's Row. There's not really any surprise about that for map number 2. But there are still ways that, if 0907 can, exert their confidence and their hubris, they will. So it is up to M2 to figure out when that is happening and at least, every now and then take advantage of it because, sometimes it's a little unpredictable what, that Reinhardt or the D.Va is going to do. But you have to be able to at least keep it in check for the most part.
Like, obviously, you can't win every single fight. It's just not a realistic expectation of anybody, right? But like you said, being able to find these moments to sort of temper the aggression, slow it down a little bit, be like, all right, you have to respect this, you have to, look at this, because that's what's happening, right? 0907 it's them basically saying, we know we are so much better, we are going to blatantly disrespect you by just taping down our W keys until you force us to stop. And, how do you stop aggression like that? It comes down to, pretty much your Brig and your Zarya are going to be the crucial factors, right? Crucial bubble timing to keep whatever target they're trying to focus on to alive, as well as that flail ability from Vegeta to sort of push the enemy back, displace them, as well as applying those heal packs, that armor health, to those targets to help them live even longer into these fights. That's where you're really going to find the value and your chance to stop this aggression.
Yeah, I mean, and that's something that Eden did very, very well for 0907 because even in spite of the hubris being punished every now and then for them, I mean, it just kind of felt like Eden was there with a rally or a well-timed shield bash to stop M2 from being able to fully capitalize on it because there was a fight in that Lijiang night market that, you talked about it. They should not have won. Flat out, it shouldn't have happened. It looks like they're just switching up who's playing what?
No, I think Eden's just trolling in the attacker spawn, unless they might actually be switching. I don't know.
Okay, so yes to that? Okay, Docky now. Okay, whatever. 0907 is probably going to stay a lot of the same. But whoever's playing that Brig does need to a lot of the burden is on the Brig.
I mean, the burden is on the Brig. We talked about it before. 0907 does actually end up walking out on this, so a bit of a swap. And again, this could be... I don't know if this is bad or worse, right? Is Taki going to be more aggressive or less aggressive than Crocs? It's a way to throw off M2 even further by just changing the style, potentially, of which you play Ghost by switching heroes. It's going to be bad.
Docky gets shield bash, but somehow stays alive. The pin is going to be good from Pika Nu, though, with that Discord or reply to everybody wanted a piece of Docky in that fight as there will be a pin here from Pika Nu. One more time, Wimbos gets back into mech as 0907 disengages.
Disengage here. Good defensive first fight for M2. But, there has to be more as there's another surge forward here on the attack.
Majin is very, very low. Jonowich already has the sound barrier, as does Spike. And now the Graviton Surge is out from Sky. Transcendence is the answer from Alec. Earth Shatter's out. Hits 3 for Docky. Can they follow up on it? Giraffe so damn low, but somehow alive. The Brig able to stay up as Pika Nu drops the Shatter down. Unfortunately, I don't think it hit anything in particular, but that is A-okay for M2 as they're going to stay in this fight.
staying in this fight. And again, these defenses, they're really, really good for M2 right now. Oh no. Are they allowed to do that, or they just swap? They're like, all right, let's get everybody back onto what they were playing before. I don't know, but I guess so.
That's not our problem.
That's not our problem. Somebody else can check the rule book. Anyway, this should mean a lot more aggression from 0907, but it seems like M2 is ready to punish it.
Yeah, Crocs has to back up here, taking a lot of damage, and unfortunately, he not in the face of anyone. A whole lot of that healing is missing right now. They're trying to push up and be aggressive here, but the ultimate advantage is so heavily in favor of M2. That is a great start for for the 0907 push, though, as Wilbos goes down and Majin drops a nuke. The backline is gone for M2, and finally, this aggression that we've seen from 0907 is going to be good for something here, as they're going to push through, and only 90 seconds on the clock, they're going to get it done.
90 seconds on the clock, a bit of a stifled start for them, but then, once they got some ultimates online after making those swaps, everybody stopped trolling on the off rolls. Again, I feel like this 0907 squad, they're getting a little bit silly with it. They're almost limit testing to see what they can do here.
Graviton Surge is out, and I mean, it's a great one by Sky indeed, as Majin cleans up a lot of that damage, and that's something you don't see like super opposite. It was clean team kill.
A clean team kill. There's just a piece of pizza on the cart here. As we flip to the other Lucio, dutifully speeding their team out of spawn. But yeah, it's going to be another interesting ult fight here. Both Shatters online. You're looking towards M2 with this Graviton potentially. Sky having just expected it in the fight previous. But 0907, they have the Squirtle. Oh, they knew the run was in there.
Wow. Okay, and Crocs is just going to get eviscerated with that Discord orb applied. And now, I mean, that's what I was talking about. You have to punish the hubris of Crocs, and they did it perfectly right there.
Again, but to be fair, that I don't know if that's specifically punished on the Crocs, or it's like, if you played Go. Oh my god! What the?
Oh! Okay, hey. Okay, you know what? You can have it. The last fight wasn't a punishment on the Crocs. That was.
I don't know if that was a punish.
No,
Wait,
that
did Lucio
that was
Ajax the murder?
get to the dungeon. Yeah, Crocs didn't get the shatter off.
Okay, well, Ajax is Lucio thing. I
Yeah,
feel like that,
yeah, but
I feel like you might just have to call that a Crocs. Oh my god, like. Oh wait, Lucio missed a beat. Oh, I didn't even realize during that.
There's the self-destruct's out. 2 for Majin one more time. Eden has fallen here, so this could still be a fight that M2 could, feasibly win here, especially if they get rid of this Demon Mech. Majin is gone. Crocs is on their back. Can they get stabilized here? Sky very, very low, able to get away, get the healing. The counter pins are out. Pika going to fall. 90 seconds on the clock, and without Pika in this fight, M2 are going to be a little bit stressed. The Lucio gets the bubble, slides away. Spike able to stay alive in this fight, but Giraffe going down and not having Pika in this fight. M2 just need to play it safe here.
This is so baffling to watch as a caster, simply because.
What is Crocs doing?
Like, what is happening?
What is happening? Okay, Crocs goes down here. Sound barrier comes out from Spike, and 0907, they don't want to give it up. They use the sound barrier from Jonowich, as it's just going to be used as a disengage tool, I guess.
I don't know what I'm looking. Oh, if Jonowich was looking for the C9. 0907 is their biggest hindrance right now, because instead of playing the game properly, they're just
Oh my god, a big shield bash followed up by an even bigger shatter by Pika. I mean, set up perfectly by Giraffe there, and only 30 seconds left.
30 seconds. Like I said, 0907, this is like the meme, too much trolling. They've done too much. They're now having to head into an overtime situation here. Sure, they have ults to work with, the shatter, the grab, but they're gonna have to, actually make sure they convert on this. If M2 can put up a good defense, they're in a phenomenal position to take this map.
Eden is dead. Earth Shatter blocked. Now the Transcendence is the answer to the Graviton Surge, and there's not an answer on the other side. And M2 did exactly what they needed to do here on this defense. Punish the hubris, punish the overplays, and they get that done. They don't give up the streets.
And so now they are in a position where, you know, they have a completely winnable map before them. And don't get me wrong, M2, they're playing fine. Their playing goes properly. I can see why they're an undefeated team. But 0907, I don't know what they're doing. Like, I can't tell if this is genuinely their strategy.
If I don't know
like,
what I'm doing,
oh, hey,
you don't know what I'm doing.
we're going to, like, just int our brains out and see what happens. It's going to be funny. Or if, like, they are just actually, like, so unbelievably hot, like, drunk on confidence that they are just like, oh, yeah, I can just pin into 5 people solo and shatter in midair and it'll be fine. It's baffling. There's no other words for it. Like, I'm just confused as to what I'm seeing here. Because I can't tell if it's trolling or if 09 actually is just like, this is how we play GOATs.
Oh, man. But to talk about something that isn't the insanity of 0907, there's a real, some real synergy on this map specifically between Giraffe and Pika, it feels like. Because... I mean, they're talking about it in chat, right? Where 0907 is like, hey, Giraffe, are you LFT? But, I mean, damn. Giraffe is, you know, I talked about a lot of the burden is on the Brig to make these plays, and Giraffe is doing that perfectly. And I expect to see a lot of the same as they begin their attack. They're just posturing around this statue as, of course, Crocs is on top of it. The Rig, you know, a little bit too able to back out behind their diva and stay alive in this fight as Sky already at 100 charge here. Pikachu looking a little bit low in the health department as Alec goes down. The Discord Orb has been eliminated and M2 will go back to spawn.
Back to the spawn indeed here. What is Majin? I'm gonna stop questioning it. This is actually just how they believe Ghost needs to be played, and it's forcing M2 to clear every building.
Oh my god. Crocs didn't get the sound barrier! They needed to follow up on that if they wanted to have a chance at punishing that hubris. And here we go, Crocs one more time, 130 HP. Gets the pack, stays alive, knocks down 2 with the Earth Shatter. But Crocs is all alone. The grab's eaten by Wilbos here. So, a great job is... Oh, Crocs gets shoved into a locker there. The pin onto Eden. And M2 will be able to adapt, overcome, and cap point A.
There's just the Overwatch being played on the screen right now. M2, they're actually playing really, really well, and they're finally punishing this stuff from 0907, but 0907 is just refusing to adapt. So I definitely could see us going to map 3 here now with M2 having so much time just to get to the end of streets. They don't even have to worry about point C, right? It's just pretty much the end of point B where that payload is going to have to park itself, and they have it all going for them right now.
Sara at 90 plus charge here, just waiting for the opportunity. You know Pika wants the shatter, and there it is. It only hits Eden, so it looks like the follow-up won't be there for the shatter. Sound barrier is out as somehow Wilbos kills 2 with the self-destruct. Were they? Okay, they were behind the Graviton Surge from Sargamon, so a very good follow-up to that grab by M2 as they begin their push proper on streets.
The proper push going through here, and you know they're heading into this next fight. You know M2 is going to have every single support ultimate online. Meanwhile, 0907 is pretty much solely relying on the grab, and then Crocs getting another shatter in the mid fight here. You know it's going to be absolutely tricky to try to get through all of this healing, all this extra health that's going to come from these supports.
All right, Sky wants it. Sky needs it. You know that they're looking for it with that defense matrix, but able to avoid it entirely. Unfortunately, Majin cannot avoid the damage, and with Eden and Majin cut ready. You know that this is going to be a very, very desperate fight for the remaining players of 0907. And Sky being put to sleep there by the Earth Shatter. Sleep forever, as I believe M2 will be able to lock down this map 100% here.
And yeah, so now we're heading into map 3 here. 0907 trolling M2, tired of the shenanigans, and being able to answer it back. Now, again, the question comes down to, will 09 adapt, or is it going to be just done for here in this situation, and where they're just going to lose the momentum of this series heading into QCP?
Oh, man. I mean, that was exactly what they needed, right, for M2. Stand up, Megalass. Stand up.
Listen, I'm stood up.
Okay.
Well, that's a lie. I'm at my chair. I'm not standing.
But it's exactly right what I said they needed to do. They figured out, they punished, they adapted for M2, right? That was perfect by M2. That was great, goats. Whatever the hell was happening with 0907, I don't know, right? I'm not sure they know. But I mean, for M2, that's exactly what they needed. They needed their momentum back, and they got it right there by saying, hey, we know that 0907 is going to do this brain-dead, stupid gameplay. And they said, hey, we're going to listen for those loud stomps by the Reinhardt to try and call out when he's behind us. And I'm pretty sure they did it damn near every time that Crocs tried to go on the flank with that Reinhardt. So that's exactly what M2 needed. They adapted, they overcame to the shenanigans of 0907. And now we will see if 0907 are willing to put their undefeated streak on the line to keep this going, because M2 isn't going to let them. It's not going to be easy.
And that's the thing. M2 has adapted. They have changed it up. So now it is on 0907 to be the ones to, have that further adaptation. Be like, all right, we can't just pin every single time. But that's one of the things, right? When you're playing against a team who's going so aggro, going so crazy like this, you don't know if that's their only strategy or if that's just them having fun. And then, when they're in these situations, like it's a map 3 and they're forced to lock in, they can actually just lock it in. Like, you never really know until you actually see it, right? And that's what we're going to see here on map 3, which just so happens to be the map that you were talking about earlier, Fletch.
Yeah. So we're going to Temple of Anubis here for map number 3. I have thoughts about Temple of Anubis, right? But at the end of the day, it is still, it's still Assault, right? It's still 2CP. It's not going to be super easy. I think it's actually, barring like Hanamura, maybe the hardest Assault map to hold on to. I think all of them are a little hard to hold on to on the, or to grab on the attack, rather. But for this map, it's been a long time since I've thought about Temple of Anubis. I don't really remember how, to play this 100%. I know, you hold the high ground where you can, right? And on point B specifically, there's a lot of, flank potential on point B for some unique gameplay. You could go up, over, around, under. For Crocs, that is going to be a playground. Or does 0907 decide to say, hey, we want to be number 1 in our group. We're going to lock it in here. We're going to actually try to play the game right.
I mean, it's going to be that question, right? Because it's not even necessarily about locking in, right? Like, if you think back to the days of GOATs, anybody remembers the runaway legacy that became Vancouver Titans, right? You think of a player like Bumper, and Crocs is embodying that to the fullest maximum potential, where it's just like, I am silly. I'm going in at all possible opportunities with zero fear, because I know I have an amazing team behind me that will just allow me to do that stuff 90% of the time. And just being able to capitalize on it time and again here. But, it's one of those things where just even then, right, when you're comparing it to that runaway squad, Bumper had those moments where you had to lock in. You couldn't get as silly. against these actual opponents, and we have to see if Crocs has that potential, within them, or if this is just an M2 adaptation that has come up again and again.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is like when it comes to this composition, right? The adaptation, obviously, it can't come from the comp, right? You can't switch the heroes around, a whole lot, right? You could go Moira, but nobody really wants to play Moira. We know what the best of the GOATS compositions is, right? It's the 6 that we've been seeing this whole tournament, I can assume. But it has to come from the mental, right? It has to come from the execution. And right now, M2 have been the more sound team, right? They're the team that's playing GOATS how it was played back in the day, right? 0907, they relied a lot on their chaotic gameplay, which realistically I didn't get to watch them play anything before this match. I can very well see that chaotic gameplay getting them this far, getting them to 5-0 over some, weaker teams. But M2 isn't that, right? M2 is not a weak team. They are a team that says, okay, knock me down once, shame on you, right? If you knock me down again, hey, that's on me. We're going to adapt and overcome. And I mean, that's exactly what we're seeing, right? M2 is saying, hey, we recognize you're a team that relies heavily on a gimmick. We're not a team that's going to lose to a gimmick. So they are, they've turned up their game volume. They're listening for those footsteps, for the Reinhardt behind them. They're listening for, a Reinhardt pinning into their backline. They are ready for the whatever 0907 is going to throw at them, because they are actually interested in playing this sound GOATS gameplay and staying undefeated, because going into this tournament, into the bracket play at 7-0 will be such a boon for you in terms of confidence, momentum, and I look for M2 to say, hey, we are the better team here, and put them down.
I mean, yeah, that's absolutely it. Promise we were not rambling to fill time. I guess teams just were like, yeah, we're just gonna do our nonsense or what have you. But finally, Temple of Anubis is here. It's a pretty look at it. And it's gonna be very interesting, right? Especially for this first point. When we talk about the pathing, right? You think of, there's 2 ways you can go. You can either go from the attacker side, you can go right, and then you're sort of meeting the enemy team on that sort of mini high ground, that ledge right above where some poke damage comes through before you meet in that little hallway. Or you can path all the way to the left, or all the way to the right side rather, when you're going to end up on the top of the map, way up next to point, and you have this insane high ground, but then you have to actually decide where you're going with it, whether you're dropping onto point, whether you're going to try to meet the enemy team somewhere. There's a few different offensive options in terms of that, but I think that pathing is going to be crucial, especially if you can find it maybe for the defense to try to catch out a player or two in these rotations.
All right, here we go. 0907, they look like they want to choose the left side to meet, or rather that's yeah, they're gonna meet M2 on this mini high ground here. Meet them in the choke. They're playing safe around the choke right now, is 0907. Just waiting for, potentially a misplay or overextension by M2, but they're going to speed out. They're going to try to jump onto Pika, who stays alive and is more than happy to receive the resources to stay alive as they take down Crocs, Eden, and Jonowich. Wilbos loses the mech, which is unfortunate, but they stay alive in this fight. They killed 2 in the Baby Diva, actually. That's crazy.
2 plus the Baby Diva. I mean, my goodness gracious there. Just a good fight plan from the defense here. And 0907, you're seeing, almost sort of fatigue on their faces, right? They're having to make these rotations, and they're not able to make them in the proper way that they want to. And when they're not allowed to be aggressive, their teamwork is starting to falter a little bit.
Here we go. Pika gets the shield bash there by Jonowich, which is exactly what they needed. So they get rid of the Reinhardt early.
You see that they try to dive in there. They pop the rally to stay in this fight. Does M2 as they await Pikanu's return to the fight. The sound barrier going to come out from both sides as Pikanu will not be able to block that Earth Shatter, unfortunately, for M2. Crocs good for it, waiting for that Reinhardt to return as, you know, it looks like Pika will return, but just going to see the corpses of their teammate as 0907 caps out point A.
Capping point A, it's never the tricky one on these two CP maps. It's point B that is always going to become an issue. And again, you know, there's multiple different options, right? You can pass into the tunnels on the left, you can go outside on the right, or you can try to run it all the way up main. Would never recommend running it up main because you're just going to get poked out the entire way through, resources expended. It seems as though they've chosen the right side for now.
Oh, no. Okay, that's unfortunate. Sargamon throws out the grab, doesn't find anything with it, unfortunately, as Giraffe goes down in their spawn. Now the self-destruct is out, and you know that bomb, you know, could have found a lot if they weren't already dead. So 0907, they come out absolutely swinging. No shenanigans to be heard of here for 0907 as desperation begins for M2.
Yeah, and they're already losing members. They're having to touch the point.
Oh,
The Shattered
no.
Ajax. 4 minutes,
Wow.
13 seconds. Ay, 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 ay.
Wow. Okay. Eesh. That was brutal.
Yeah, point B is normally the hard one, but
I
yes,
mean, taking down Giraffe, just everything fell apart for M2.
and so now obviously you have to answer back by completing the map, which, you know, it's not the craziest, most out of the world thing to do, but it definitely is going to be a tall task to actually complete the map. But you have to complete it with a decent time bank, right? To try to match up on the other side, make sure that you're not putting yourself at a disadvantage in those extra rounds here. And that's just going to put more and more pressure on M2, which, considering how their first point defense was going, you know, it was a pretty surprising snowball after that, right? Pretty much as soon as they lost one fight on their first defense, they never were able to get their footing back. It's absolutely tragic there. So it is just going to have to be a bit of a reset. Meanwhile, 0907 probably back in the saddle now. They're feeling as though they're like, all right, listen, we lost that last map, a little too much trolling, but now we can sort of play our game a little bit more again. The defense aggression is always a lot more favorable here on Temple of Anubis, so it's going to be exciting to see what 07 or 0907 wants to pick up.
All right. Here we go. M2 getting their shot at 0907 here on their attack finally after a blistering pace set by 0907 on the attack. Gonna rotate through the right side as Crocs. Buddy. Okay, so Crocs is dead, and that means that 0907 don't really have a definitive front line at the moment. As M2 will just hard engage onto the point, and 0907, they're just going to wait for Crocs to come back and, you know, give up 2 ticks here.
Give up 2 ticks, come in at that last minute to get another defense going, and you're seeing they're already doing just that, but no ultimates for either side means this will just be a natural dry fight with Rico.
Right here, Crocs all alone. Unfortunately, that wasn't an int by Crocs that time, but thrown over to the other side of the point all alone as 3 have fallen. For M2 as Pikanu is all alone here, especially now. Oh, wait a minute. Pika gets 2. I mean, there's still a chance here that M2 could come back and win this fight out very, very quickly.
I mean, yeah, but, you know, with more and more of these kills, right, especially with you're going to see...
Wait a minute.
Oh, the bubble.
Okay, so will Majin gonna be able to get back into mech here as the bubble comes out to try and save Spike's life, but no good there. Sara has 100% charge as they're just gonna disengage her and wait.
Disengaging, especially considering how M2 had that point almost locked up. You know, this is great for 0907. They're going to be able to get more defensive fights in here, and they're able to position properly. Now having to take this rotation again to try to clear off this little mini high ground.
Bubbles have been expended by Sky here. Pika needs to hit a big shatter here as Giraffe pops the rally to get that armor building up here as they're just backing down, walking down 0907 right now. Eden uses the sound barrier. It only hits 4, so Crocs is very, very low. Unfortunately, that Earth Shatter does not find a target here. The pin does not find a target that is of any value, but Crocs is alone again. And unfortunately, or I guess fortunately for 0907, is still alive. They do lose Sky for 0907 as Saura does head over to the point, use the Gravitic Surge, and finally going to find their openings to cap point A.
They're opening up point A here after expending that Graviton, but 0907 actually, you know, I was going to say have a brutal stagger here, but unfortunately with Alec going down right before, they're going to have to just wait to get their own Zenyatta out, so plenty of time for Daki to respawn. And 0907, they have amazing tools for this defense. Their own Graviton Surge to combo with this Bomb for Majin, as well as Crocs with another Deadly Earth Shatter to lay out whenever they so please.
Alright, rotating around through the tunnels is M2's decision. You see Croc sitting there third person waiting to see what this Earth Shatter has in store. Majin has to use the self-destruct to get back into mech, and Crocs' Earth Shatter only finds, I believe, Alec here, and now Giraffe pops the rally to hit the go button for M2. Sky throws out the Graviton Surge, and the answer is, of course, the Transcendence by Alec, and now the Earth Shatter, I believe, hits Jonowich, but is blocked for the rest of the team here. Giraffe will be the first to fall, unfortunately, as the Earth Shatter, or the self-destruct, rather, does not find a target here. Crocs goes back in, has another Earth Shatter ready to go, should they so choose, but they won't even need it, as 0907 will stabilize here on point B.
And M2, you know, the one advantage for them here is they're staggering onto Baby D.Va, waiting till the last possible second to get that kill. You know, M2, they want to try to set themselves up for success in this next fight, but 0907 on the defense, they didn't expend all too much, right? They're going to have a Transcendence as well as this rally, and Crocs held on to this Earth Shatter. So now, being able to deliver it in another fight here, it could, you know, absolutely be game-ending here, as we're just watching more and more time start to dwindle off this clock.
It looks like the right side push is the choice, as the Earth Shatter is big. It hits 2, but Pika is able to find Jonowich first. Crocs gets the pin off, and now the Transcendence from Daki. There is no sound barrier to cancel out this grab here from Saragamon, but that is okay because they didn't really need it to begin with. Crocs going down, though, is not a good thing here for 0907. They need to disengage, and they're going to hit the speed boost as fast as they can, but they lose Eden. They lose Sky. Majin is in the backline, still alive, as the Earth Shatter is ready for Pika, and this D.Va has the self-destruct ready to go should they need the remech, as they won't even get a tick as another Shatterjax comes out from Pika, unfortunately, as 0907 are looking staunch right now.
They don't give up a tick. I mean, that couldn't have been a better fight for M2. Obviously, you lost like 1 or 2. It was a weird little thing at the start there, giving up your D.Va mech, but you came into that, you had all of the advantage, but the, you know, the cycle touch from Majin there was just so unbelievably perfect. And now 0907, again, look at their ult bank. They have all of the resources you could ever ask for. Meanwhile, M2 just walking into this one with a D.Va bomb in a rally. Like, they're having to make something out of nothing, and it's just not working out for them.
All right, both rallies are thrown out. Crocs, Sky, they both have these ultimates, and there you see it. Jonowich throws out that shield bash, and Crocs throws it down the Earth Shatter. 2 dead and a minute left. The disengage is in full force right now, or at least trying to be in full force for M2. But 0907 just won't let them.
Just absolutely won't let them push the spawn doors. I mean, at this point, their enemy's the clock, right? If you hold the spawn doors, you know, you're already in a situation where M2, unless a miracle cap started happening right now, they wouldn't be able to do just about anything here in terms of time bank, right? So they'd have to be going up against it in that regard. So they're playing for just a crazy defense.
All right, Majin did go down, but we'll be back well before M2 is able to actually touch this point. And unfortunately, it looks like M2 is going to be playing for a draw. Should they win this fight out, cap the point? They get the Transcendence, they get the sound barrier. Eden has used theirs as well. Crocs gets stunned up there a little bit. They don't touch!
They don't touch. I mean, they were up against a grab, but the grab doesn't even come out. They just didn't touch point. They couldn't send the D.Va. They couldn't send the Lucio. Everybody was up. There was nothing to pick that happened. That was just an unfortunate oversight from M2, giving them their first loss here in the group stage. 0907, they did it in a very wacky fashion, but now still rocking that undefeated chip on their shoulders here. It's absolutely mind-boggling to see here. Just craziness.
Yeah, I mean, I'll continue to hold the opinion that M2 was the more sound team in this matchup. Having said that, 0907 did, they still pulled their shenanigans like a little bit, but for the most part, that was GOATs, right? That was exactly what 0907 needed to do. They locked it in. They said, Crocs, I love you to death. Stop. We want to win this series out. And Croc still did do some of the little goober plays, right? But it was nothing insane like the bumper pin into the team, right? It was all just like, hey, I'm just gonna walk at you and you're not gonna do anything about it. And so 0907, they're the team that moves to 0-6, or not 0-6, but 6-0, right? They're undefeated. They have, both these teams have one more game. I'm sure that both of these teams have already, very well qualified for the bracket play in a couple of weeks. But I mean, yeah, what an interesting match that was.
Yeah, I mean, it was, that last map was GOATs in its purest form, and 0907, they came out big. But like I said, I'm more than excited to see both these teams in that bracket stage when it comes about in 2 weeks. But, because like you said, they've both pretty much cemented their spots at the top of the group. And it'll be interesting to see, how they match up against some of these other groups. Because that's the great thing about group stage. Sometimes you just don't know who truly is the best here. But, yeah, it's just great to see.
All right. Well, that'll do it for me here in this afternoon. I believe, Megaless, you've got one more to go here after this. But 0907... they get it done in unconventional fashion to stay undefeated. There is one more round in the group stage here in the EU GOATS tournament here on CGL. There'll be one more match coming up after this. Should be a lot of fun, so stick around. We will be right back.
Lost deep in it, can't stop. I'm forever the one you call. Let's free fall. I'm so caught in this, we're so lost deep in it, can't stop. I'm forever the one you call. Let's free fall. Let's free fall. Let's free fall.
Let's have a bit of fun till I downfall. My love, if you feel like I do right now, don't say you're on the run to the other side, my love. You say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. You say you wanna cry, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. I don't know what you want. Let's have a bit of fun till I downfall. My love, if you feel like I do right now, don't say you're on the run to the other side, my love. You say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose.
welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back for some more GOATs here in CGL. We are in the last round of EU for this weekend, and Megalash, you're pulling the triple header here today, and I've heard there's been some absolute chaos, a couple of big old Charlie Niners, and I'll affectionately say I hope we don't get another one, but I kind of personally hope we get another one here today.
So, we've had 2 map 3s, and both of our 2 CP maps ended with a C9. I wish I was kidding. Both of them did. So, yeah, teams got to worry about the points here for this final round between we love the CCP and what the hell. I quickly want to say this is also a group that has a team called Winston Commit Tax Fraud. So the group name, like the team names in this group, are wild to say the least.
I mean, 100%. In this group, one of the smaller groups as well, only 6 teams in it, but the top 4 will move on. And to be honest, this is a pretty important match, all things considered, because what the hell does need to win this to manage that top 4? And we love the CCP has to win to have literally any chances. They're currently sitting at the bottom of those 6 teams. But important game. All these games are important at the end of the day. But of course, Megalas, we should take a look at these rosters as, like I said, the last round of EU here today, and always had to have some very stacked talent going into these kind of matchups.
Of course, we have amazing players, especially starting off with we love the CCP. We have Indiana, Actually P, and Khan being your tanks to start off with, and then Ace, Sweeney, and Orin Slayer on those supports. Because, it's GOATs. It's 3 tanks, 3 supports. As we learned last series, they're not technically locked to that. So in the middle of the series, if they feel the need to switch, a tank wants to play support or something, they can do that. But at least for the images we have here, this is what they're going to be starting on.
Yeah, 100% here. And obviously, no surprises on what teams are going to run. Every team has been sticking with the Rhine and the Zen variant. I don't think I personally have seen a Winston from what I've seen been casted in the games that I've played myself. So this is likely going to be the 6 you're going to keep seeing throughout the entire series. But of course, we do have to look at what the hell as well. Like I said, sitting in that 4th position, hoping to secure that. We have Crastus, Yoshi, Ben on the tank. We have Liza, Mizu, and Max on the support lineup. And as you said, these could change around. It is entirely possible if one team suddenly goes into the realization of, hey, we don't think this is working in this situation. Maybe we should swap people around. It's entirely a plausible situation if a team just feels, hey, this might just be the right call. But of course, we'll see that when we get to the matchups today, but of course, we will have to look at what our first map is going to be, which all of them are pre-selected for the first map. And Maglas, we're going to go for Nepal, which, in terms of what GOATS is as a composition, it's a relatively good map for it.
Yeah, believe it or not, it's hard to find a bad GOATS map in the game. It's almost like the game was designed a certain way back in the day. But, you know what, Nepal, it's great. Listen, we've gotten to see a lot of variety, right? We had some Antarctic Peninsula earlier. We had some Lijiang Tower at the Staple. Mm-hmm. And now, winding it down on Nepal for the group stages. I'm more than happy to come here. Be interesting to see if any of our Lucios want to get a little bit crazy with it, get some boop kills on the Sanctum. Or, you can even look towards Village being a fun point, because that truly is a map where teams are just going to slam into each other like it's a wrestling match and just see which Reinhardt comes out ahead. It's going to be a good time.
Oh, 100%. GOATS has always been a good time. It's nice to have these weekends where we can kind of sit back and tune into some nostalgia, and then at the same time, when it's all over, pray that we never get GOATS back 100%. But we'll be getting in here momentarily, as I'm hoping this will ship up to another map 3, as we'll be starting out on the lovely Sanctum, Lucio's stomping grounds here to start things out, and obviously no surprises in the lineups here. I mean, Megalash, in your perspective, you have 2 real routes you can take here. You can go that risky far side on the bridge and potentially risk the boop, or you could take the safe direction instead and go far side and just drop down and go under the point. In your perspective, which one would you go for if you were in either team situation right now?
Honestly, I would definitely path towards, it's like a mini high ground of sorts, where you're currently looking at. It's going to be on your right side. For, what the hell, who we're currently on board with. But no, they seem to be opting for the mini room that can drop down onto point here. Now the question is, do they drop down on the point, or are they just playing a bit of a merry-go-round against the other? Okay, so we're opting into the merry-go-round strategy where everybody loops on each other until someone decides they want to go.
Yeah, but now what the hell in this situation where they do have to force themselves on the point in time, and we love CCP. Potentially not going to have the biggest problem capturing this point, as eventually what the hell is going to force their way onto the point. Big boop, though, going to send Indiana off the side. And did not have any trouble taking that over. They're going to clear things up. What the hell will start out with this point? Just need to clear out a couple more players. Max will go down, but should be able to taxi them back before them. But they do manage to get back to Max as well. So, fair trade-off.
Yeah, and one pick is actually super crucial sometimes, right? Because sure, like you said, Max will be back in the fight, but it changes where you're able to hold, you know? What the hell, instead of holding forward in this room, you're seeing CCP already occupy, having to play a little bit back, a little bit more passive here, and sort of wait for the engage while you get your breaks back into the engage.
Yep, and Indiana, again, going to be the first one to go down. The fight is just going to break down from there, just trying to clear them away. The biggest thing, Meglas, we get in these situations, they're clearing out. We've had some early deaths on the side. Oren only has 70%. Max is literally about to have their first rally coming up on this fight.
And yeah, I mean, rally, it's such an insane, crucial, you know, sort of tool in these fights, right? With being able to provide that extra armor, that extra healing to everybody. It allows the team to just get so much more aggressive here. Especially when you're watching out for these shatters coming online, those break stuns as well.
Ooh, yeah, the shatter is going to get one, but they're going to answer back with the grab, and their own transcendence is being used. Bomb sitting in the center, looking for something big. Not quite, just going to knock Khan out of their mech, but still, that could be the damage that they need as Indiana down first once again, and here comes the cleanup as actually hopes to get out of here with their charge, but it is not going to happen. They're going to risk it and try to take them out of mech instead, but is that worth it to try to lose all that charge instead of trying to preserve it instead?
I mean, whether it's worth it or not is the decision that got made for the time being here. So now, Ben not having that mech is going to be crucial. About to have it online, but they're already all grabbed up.
Oh my god, that fight was over before we knew it, and with that, Ace is still alive though, but now with them being dead, no one's going to be able to touch this point. What the hell? A decisive 100-0. I think they may have only taken one or two deaths. Eventually, it's going to tick over. And Megaless, that was not a particularly close first round there.
No, it was not. But, you know, unfortunately, you know, what the hell, they realized the stakes, right? They came to play. They're sitting on that fourth bubble, that fourth spot bubble right now. They want to be able to lock it up and secure themselves for the actual bracket stage next weekend, you know. And that being able to play like that is going to get them there. You know, we love CCP. They weren't able to get back really any sort of answers. They were just sort of stuffed into their spawn room time and again here. Maybe more focus on to keeping Indiana alive in these fights. Maybe some more break packs need to come through the bubbles, what have you. Just trying to help your Reinhardt sustain through these long fights.
Both teams making different options. What the hell, gonna rotate just simply through and just want to go on to the point. We the CCP end up going the high ground. Still believe they're coming there, but realize they have taken over the point. And now CCP has to decide how they want to drop down. They want to drop down naturally, or do they want to loop behind? Looks like it's going to drop straight down here, using those bubbles very quickly. Actually, we already going to get rid of Max. That's the good start they needed. Going to trade out the Briggs, though, but some force back onto the scene. As for the time being, what the hell has that point? Have a 5-4 advantage right now, making sure to cap it. CCP going to have to take a quick reset here to collect actually P, as well as their Zenyatta.
But, you know, I mean, just again, a quick little collect, and then being able to set up on this high ground. It's so important here on the village, right? Being able to hold this high ground, because as long as you react quickly, you can sort of drop the point when you need to if the enemy team tries to pass that way. But no, it seems like they're going to opt into the high ground war, or we love the CCP.
Yeah, brave choice here, but see if it pays off, and it is not going to, as Craftus is already down. Losing the Rhine that early could be disastrous right now, but Orin is just in super deep, and actually P has gone too. And it's looking like what the hell's going to win the fight without the help of the Reinhardt. As a matter of fact, they're going to be able to stagger a bit of a baby diva if they choose, but will show a bit of mercy, as that's a heck of a 5-6 to pull off. It is really hard to win a fight once you lose your Reinhardt early.
not only winning that fight out, but also being able to not have to overcommit, overinvest ultimates that you already have online into that. It's so crucial. Now with this grab bomb combo coming online, you're seeing them hold the doors because they want to be able to sort of just stuff them with this combo whenever we love tries to come through.
Right now, everything's out. Grab gonna get used. A lot of people on the inside. Nothing to defend themselves, though, and just eliminating one by one. The 2K bomb at the end, clearing things out. And now just one more fight remaining, and they still have some really good ultimates for this coming fight.
They do, but on the other side of things, right? Indiana coming up on a shatter as well as Ace having the sound barrier. You're seeing them currently set up to just sort of take a path in the fight directly to the objective here. I don't blame them not wanting to fight on that high ground anymore, but they can't get caught in transition.
And they die with the ultimate line with both support ultimates getting cleared away. It's gonna be the double 100-0, clearing things out. No overtime. What the hell? Completes the 200-0 on Nepal. A decisive first map here.
Very, very decisive indeed. I feel like there really wasn't an opening ever for We Love to get back into that one. What the hell? Just slam the door in their face time and again with some really good gameplay. Being able to rotate their ultimates, not over-investing in these fights and holding where they needed to. And being able to follow up on these, like, look at this, right? Like, right there in that play of the game, you saw a target got discorded. Immediately, there was a Zarya beam, Diva micro missile shot at it, and a Reinhardt pin coming in to follow up, right? That level of follow-up and synergy is what you need in GOATS, and what the hell is currently putting that on full display.
Yeah, 100%. And the thing was, at the end of the day, is that CCP, there were multiple fights in that second round where they did get the first pick. In that very first fight, they took down the Brig first. In that second to last fight, they took down the Rhine first. But even with those advantages, like, we see what the hell coming together and able to pull back these 5v6s, realizing when is the right time to hard invest, when is the right time to pull back, and how they want to respond. A very smart team, and that's the reason why, I'm a little surprised that this is the team that's sitting down at the bottom of the bracket right now. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but with this pace right now, getting that top 4 is a possibility, but of course, they do have to finish the job. And Megaless, I mean, it's not really a question what map we're going to go to. Yes, there are 4 options, but have you seen anything but Kings Row being played this entire weekend?
Nah. It's Kings. It's just Kings. Only Kings. The thing I'm laughing and losing my mind about is our producer just pinged us to let us know that Indiana is a Switch player.
What?
One of like 12 people to own Overwatch on the Nintendo Switch. Which, I mean, if there's a time to play on your Switch, it probably is Reinhardt and GOATS. You only need like 2 buttons. And then just being able to move the Joy-Con sticks. Maybe they're on Joy-Con, maybe they have a real controller, who knows. But it's an interesting time, to say the least, when you know that for one of the players, especially when they're locked into that Rhine duel with how crucial it is. It could be the thing that's giving What the Hell the advantage right now, though.
I mean, yeah, I'm not going to say, actually, I'm going to say playing on a Switch is probably going to give you a lot more of a disadvantage than playing on mouse and keyboard, even if it's just something like Reinhardt. Like, in that situation, you're able to have faster reflexes with mouse and keyboard. Now, that is not to say it's impossible for them to win this. I think there is 100% a route, because they've had some team fights where they clearly know what they're doing. They clearly know what they need to do and are able to get the first pick. But need to be able to see them do some back-to-backs here, as CCP, of course, going to be starting off on the attack. So what the hell? Hoping to just stomp it down on the defense, make this a quick one, as it doesn't seem like anything's changed up, except they're currently baiting the Moira, which... how do you value do you value the Moira over the Zenyatta in any kind of situation for GOATs?
There's no trade-off, right? Or there is a trade-off, because it's more healing, less damage, right? You lose the Discord Orb, you lose Zenyatta's raw output damage, and you trade it for a lot more healing. So sure, you can live a lot longer, but you lose pretty much all of your kill potential outside of your ultimates, your gravitons, your bombs, your shatters. So it gets really, really difficult. But they are actually opting to run out on it, so maybe they feel like they just need to live a little bit longer. Those Discords aren't connecting for them as well. Only time will tell if this is the right decision.
Yeah, Decision has been made. Indiana already taken care of, and here comes the cleanup. Want to try to demech Khan or get rid of Ace. Gonna get rid of Ace, but Khan will be able to stay within the mech, thankfully. But, I mean, Indiana just getting caught out there. Like, it's as simple as that.
Listen, you know, it's certainly something to say the least here. But being able to, you know, like you said, stay in the mech, absolutely crucial as we're watching CCP walk forward into this next fight. They're trying to play around the statue and take the statue control away from this defense from what the hell, but currently they're just having to, like, posture and hope.
Again, just getting booped in. They're going to trade out again, but Indiana needs to stay up. Decides to drop. Shield just gets eliminated. They're gotten rid of, and now they're going to clean things up. Again, Khan want to make sure they don't get taken out of the mech. Will succeed in that once again. But it's just Indiana keeps getting taken out of position, and you notice they're getting booped in to the rest of what the hell, and just you lose every option when that happens. As we're going right into the next fight. Why not? As we do have a pickoff already, and again, fight over before it really even truly begins. Sweeney not able to make anything out of the coalescence, and gonna be able to clean things up. And Khan again able to survive with the mech, but they're just making no progress. Oh no.
Oh no.
No,
Oh
please.
no. Check your corners all forever and always. Hopefully the roar of the hammer from that mythic weapon can give them away here. But at least for the time being, no one's looking.
And it's gonna hit a couple of people. Ace getting rid of P, and Indiana not gonna be too far behind, running back into the spawn room. Lissa does go down over on the side of what the hell, but that's the Lucio. That's gonna be the quickest person that's gonna be able to get back. So they should be able to pull this corner and remain relatively safe until they return.
Relatively safe. Being able to expend only Shatter there for a fight win is absolutely massive, because now as you're seeing, what the hell has everything else in the bank right now. To be fair though, you know, we love TCP. They're currently, they're coming up on a lot.
Yep, and they don't have anything to counter. Bomb's gonna go up just for the heck of it. Gonna clear them out. Not even gonna bother with the stagger either. A minute and a half. And this is not looking good so far. They're gonna have a lot of good ultimates for this fight, but they just haven't been able to make anything out of them.
I mean, yeah, they're able to get the crucial ults out, besides the fact that Kraft has built up towards another Shatter almost online here. Really, it's going to be about the sustain ultimates for what the hell, but they also are just getting hits like that.
And again, these fights ending before they begin. Khan just has to focus on trying to live and get back in, and he's going to try to stay alive, not going to be able to maintain their charge, and with a minute left, they're going to have 5 ultimates. That's great, but what the hell? Even if it's just, you know, the beat, the transcendence, the shatter, they have the answers, clearly.
They do indeed. Now it's just about actually getting to position to use them. Now the question is, are they going to be aware that Kraft is setting up here?
There's no-
I don't think they know!
There's no way you fall for it twice. You're gonna see the transcendence come out just to try to double down. Bomb gonna be thrown into the side as well. We're gonna see Kraft just go down for that. So if CGP takes the quick reset, that could do this. No, they just int in. They're running in there, and now they're gonna die one by one. The coalescence comes out anyway. And Sweetie's gonna go down, and now this touch is gonna be so difficult, and you don't have a single dang ult to do it. What the hell? Likely gonna pull off this full hold, just needs to find a touch. And they're trying their darndest, and it's looking like they might force one, but the overtime ticking over doesn't matter. A pick onto Lizza, he finds one as well, but everyone is disastrously low. And eventually, Megalast, things are going to be cleaned up here. We'll see a full hold. No ticks, no crumbs left over for CCP.
Nothing indeed. Oh my goodness gracious, what a good full hold there. Felt like that overtime fight. There was a chance, right, with the rally coming out from Orin Slayer. Then, you know, actually P getting a kill or two, but it just wasn't enough to turn the tide. And so now you're looking at a full hold just to go for a draw here. Meanwhile, what the hell, you know, we talked about it all series long. They needed to win this one to lock in their spot in the bracket stage that happens in a couple of weeks here. And they're on the precipice of that now. They've been playing such good Overwatch, you know, being able to get cocky with your opponent, go for these, like, hidden little corners. Sweeney just typing 20 deaths per 10. You know, sometimes that's the other thing that happens on GOAT sometimes. You know, sometimes you just get run over, but it is what it is.
But now going into one, what the hell, one spot away from securing that top 4 in a spot in the bracket. That's all they need. One fight win. Not going to see that Moyer come back out. Garrett gets got it this time around. And right here. This is potentially your last fight in the whole tournament that you're going to have here. And you have to do this perfectly. You have no room to slip up, no room to give over a tick or two just to restabilize. You have to eventually take that fight back to the point if they push it. And What the Hell so far has proved they can. And CZP need something that is just maybe short of a miracle.
Nothing short of a miracle indeed here. But, miracles can definitely happen, right? The switch could come through and prevail at the end of the day. We'll see.
The switch is beginning to fail them. Already have lost 2. Clearing them out. Khan does manage to find one, but at the end of the day, not going to mean anything here. Going to clear them out of the mech and call the world record department, ladies and gentlemen, because that is going to end that thing, capping in just less than 30 seconds. What the Hell will secure their top 4 spot, move on in the bracket. We love CCP, unfortunately not able to produce anything during this series, not able to get a single point or even a tick or some percentage or anything. This was just a stomp for What the Hell.
Yeah, but, I mean, that's the great thing about Goats. Sometimes you get stomped in school and all, but, you played some Goats, right? It's Overwatch that it doesn't exist anymore. It's a relic of a time forgotten, and I'm sure... more than sure that they had some laughs, they had some fun, seeing as all the typing they were doing. So it's always fun, getting to run tournaments like that. I'm sure more than anyone, Hunter, getting to play and stuff. It's one of the greatest feelings.
It is a fantastic feeling. Of course, I have to walk into Citrus Nation later today, so I don't know if I'm feeling that good about it. I'll get there when I get there. But either way, that does it for EU. Obviously, not going to be able to really tell you guys who's all in the top 4. Matches are still happening. People are still reporting, so I'm not going to give any inaccurate information. But luckily, Megalast, we do have a whole day of NA in front of us. Still 4 more rounds of that. Of course, I got to go play that instead of cast that. But I've had a fantastic day. I'm sure you've had a fantastic day. A bit of a quick one to close things out, but it's fun nonetheless.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Tons of fun. But yeah, we'll have NA coming up in a little bit. I don't think it's going to come up right away. There's going to be a bit of a break. But hey, in that break, there is some Calling All Heroes you could go watch. Maybe we'll be playing in that later today, depending if we can get through losers. So, lots of playing happening here. Lots of Overwatch community doing some things. It's going to be great. But yeah, EU for the GOATS tournament. The groups are being decided, and bracket stage will be fun in 2 weeks.
Yeah. Yep. 100% will, but of course we're gonna send it out for now. We'll be back here, and I believe it's supposed to start at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so we'll see you here in a couple of hours for some more GOATS action.